Guys, how are you? Tonight's topic is perfectionism. And perfectionism is, you're not either a perfectionist or not a perfectionist. We're all perfectionists in our own ways, and we all fall about like on a scale of 10 to 1. I'm a 10 perfectionist or I'm a 1. And everyone has their particular things that they're perfectionistic about. For myself, it's always my handwriting, but then I slowly get over it throughout the day, and it becomes messier and messier. But then some people will hold on to that, and that's not a bad thing. But perfectionism becomes really bad and detrimental to our mental health when it creeps into parts of your lives where accept that you can't be perfect, like relationships or the house or raising your children, and it starts to have a negative impact. It prevents you from taking something further. Your relationships, for example, if everything has to be perfect, which is everything on the outside appears right, well, there's no way of exploring that relationship, because anywhere left or anywhere right, you're going to reach some sort of havoc or some sort of barrier that's going to be completely against you. And a perfectionist will seize up and then start to sabotage that relationship so that they can blame that person. I used to do perfectionism really well with essays at school, where I'd start writing right from the start. The introduction would be brilliant. And then I'd start with the paragraphs and, I haven't got enough. I have to do more research. And then that research would take me off in a different direction. And, but I haven't gotten this for it. I need to find more quotes. And I wouldn't just sit there and do the essay. I'd be off here and there and everywhere and not doing anything. One of my idols, and someone that I try to model with all of my coaching and just being a human being in general, successful human being, is Sharon Pearson. And she believes that perfectionism is a sign of low standards. And when you think about it, it is. When you're trying so hard to be perfect, you never really and truly complete anything. Like with my example, my essays, I never handed them in the end. And so how could I get the feedback to better myself or better my skills in the end? Perfectionism keeps you stagnant. Perfectionism will keep you cleaning the same table over and over again and not getting it dirty. You don't, like, if you constantly have something clean, you wouldn't know what can sit on it for long enough without damaging the wood or this, that, and the other. There's so many things. It's a table. I started reading this great book called The Gifts of Imperfection. It's backwards in the screen. It's by Brené Brown. I'll type it into Asian group. It's all about letting go of who you think you're supposed to be and embracing who you truly are. So the thing about perfectionism is, when you suffer from it, you want everything on the outside to appear perfect. Lost for words, perfect. But nothing can ever be. And when something doesn't turn out the perfect way that we want it to, perfectionists look inside of them as well. It was something that I did and I didn't get it right and it wasn't perfect, and they play this shame game on themselves, which creates this downward spiral and ultimately leads to self-destructive behavior. It all stems from this need during your childhood to be accepted and approved, when it came to doing good at school, or you're always so neat and tidy, and everyone looks to you for those reasons, and you create this belief that it's what you accomplish in your life that reflects on you and that creates who you are. And yes, we all want to be perfect, but we can't be, and some people hold on to that when they should be letting it go. It's not as easy as doing that. When I think of perfectionism, it is just another strategy to keep us safe. We want to stay in our comfort zones, and we want everything to be comfortable and familiar and to our own level perfect at all times. But the flaw in that is it can't be perfect, but the way around it is that it's a strategy. We all run out strategies to suit us to our best abilities. Someone's just come online. Are you there? No, they've gone back. It's a strategy that you run. So ultimately you need to break that strategy. It sounds really easy, but if it were easy, none of us would be perfectionists, and we'd all have really happy lives with no problems. To break a strategy or to scratch the record of perfectionism, you need to break the state, that perfectionistic state that you get into. Say it's writing the essay. Oh no, I need to go do this. Oh no, I need to do more research. No, I need to do that. First step with any sort of personal development is becoming self-aware. You're playing out that strategy. You know yourself. You know when you're doing it. You need to firstly become aware. And then you need to break that pattern, break out of that state. You can feel anything you want at any given time. If I say feel sad, you're going to run through all of the stories and all the scenarios in your head of a sad, depressive state, or someone being hurt or something having happened to you, and you'll feel sad. Some of us will start to cry. If I ask you to be happy, likewise, you just think of all of the happy things that in your life, you know, seeing dogs bark and sunshine and lollipops and rainbows, and you'll feel happy. You'll be smiling, even talking about it. There's this burst of energy. When you're perfectionistic, it is another state, and it's just this extreme focus and need to be right. And you see the hands, like that's perfectionistic hands right there. I get it with my cooking. You have to break the state. You got to be like, okay, every time I feel that, I'm going to do star jumps, or choose something completely outrageous. Tony Robbins says that the more outrageous the break state is, the less likely you're going to go back to that same strategy. The next time you find yourself being a perfectionist, break the state any way possible, and you'll begin. It's like a record. You'll scratch that record, and you won't be able to do the same thing again. I lost my train of thought. That's a perfectionist. Not really. So I haven't got anyone guiding me with questions, so I will leave it at that, and we'll take it to the Facebook group. Breaking states and scratching strategies is a complicated one, and everyone's different. Perfectionism creeps into every part of our lives and isn't the worst things for the worst thing for, you know, baking a cake or getting a recipe right. But when eventually it catches up with you, and it impacts the people around you and in your life, and that's when it becomes a problem, and that's when it becomes something that you need to break. So I would love to take this to the Facebook group, and if anyone wants to put their hand up, and say that this is something I find myself perfectionistic in, and I'd like to scratch that record. Put your hand up, or we can do it anonymously and I can bring it to the group and we can chat about it that way. And yeah, I think that'll be the best way to go. That gives me the opportunity to help you guys one-on-one. So that brings me to the end of our first tea party. I get into my perfectionistic states quite often with my work as well. And I felt really unprepared and quite nervous going into this. And I finished my cup of tea even before I got here, so it wasn't really a tea party anyways. And if I had have given in to those urges, I would have cancelled. And I would have gone back to the drawing board and reorganized it and had a full script and read more books and done more research and this, that, and the other. It happens in a lot of people's businesses. The thing you got to remember is it can never be perfect. It's probably going to suck the first time. Not that this sucks. It's pretty awesome talking to myself in a webinar. And slowly, it'll get easier to work with it. First things first, break the strategy. And that's where you start. But let's take that to the Facebook group and let me help you out more. If you have any questions, shoot them through in the chat box. Otherwise, take them straight to the Facebook group and we'll chat further there. Anyways, it was a great tea party tonight. I've had someone bouncing in and out. Otherwise, it's just been me. But I had fun. It's been great talking to you guys, and I'm hoping you enjoy the replay. Okay, take it easy, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.